Okay, we should be live on YouTube now. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel and click the like button if you haven't done so already. The replays of these, for the most part, land on the YouTube channel. Some of the content we do here, we do reserve for Next Level members. You can access information about Next Level in the kvCORE marketplace under the coaching session. But we generally stream these live, and then we put the replays on the playlist at insiderealestate.com/webinars. And that just takes you to this YouTube playlist. And then we've got a bunch of other content and replays and things like that in the Next Level members area. So let's jump on into the topic today. As always, everybody, feel free to ask questions in the chat box. We got a small crowd. I didn't do a great job of promoting our sessions this week. It's kind of like one of those things, in your own business, your real estate business, you always notice when you put the work in a little earlier, you get the results a few days later. And I did not put the work in. So we've got a small crowd today, but hopefully we get a lot of people to watch this on replay. So the topic today is re-engaging old kvCORE leads. Earlier this week, somebody asked a question, how do I re-engage these? And I kind of spent 5 minutes, I think it was Tuesday or Monday. I spent 5 minutes running through some ideas really fast, but I don't feel like it was super fair. And this topic deserved a lot more attention. And then Dan, one of my coworkers, he actually had a direct question about this from a kind of a large office too this week. So I said, hey, the moon, the sun, the stars, whatever wants a webinar about this topic. So here we go. So I'm going to share this document with everybody because I know everybody's inevitably going to ask for the link. So I'll copy that link over and drop it in the chat, and I'll make sure it ends up in the description of the YouTube replay later today. But what I was hoping to run through is just kind of some tips and tricks. This might be a little overwhelming. I'm not going to be able to go into every example, but just going to do like a 10,000 foot view kind of brainstorming session. And if you guys watching have any ideas that I'm missing here for how you might re-engage old leads, feel free to do so. So the first paragraph I have up here, it says, as part of the growth system process that we talk about all the time, in the Next Level members area, it's definitely recommended that on an ongoing basis, from day to day, as you get new leads in kvCORE, that you're doing certain things. And those certain things in my mind are making sure that every lead has an automated property alert set up. So you can do that using the marketing automation features, or you can manually, review every lead and set up a nice property alert. Send something cool via mass emails and texts every week. I believe this is critically important for any business owner in any industry, real estate or not. This is the secret sauce for people who really get to squeeze the most juice out of their lead flow. Is you got to be creating unique stuff and engaging on a week-to-week basis. Just to give you inside the kind of open the curtain a little bit and share, one of our main tactics here at Inside Real Estate, one of many, is to do these webinars. So what you're sitting on now is an example of us engaging and re-engaging our audience, whether you use kvCORE or not. These videos are out there on YouTube for people to find and access, right? So definitely want to do that every week. Send something cool. And then we talked all last week about retargeting, right? We did 4 straight webinars, and we have content in the Next Level members area about retargeting. I believe that if you are consistently and systematically retargeting your web visitors, that's kind of the third big component in this. And I did miss a piece. I almost like to overlook this on purpose, but conversation starting, smart campaigns, using kvCORE's smart campaigns. To me, as I've talked about, these don't need to be super long. It's more important in that first 0 to 7 or 14 days, first week or two, that you kind of try to re-engage and sift off the hot ones. But really, this sending something cool stuff, that is your longer term drip campaign where you're creating good content every week and you're manually mass emailing that out. So these are the 4 components. So what I said here to kind of set up our topic today is that if you do these 4 things, then ending up with old or stale leads won't really be that much of an issue. Inevitably, people are going to drop off. Not every, a lot of people just aren't going to ever engage, right? For whatever reason, life happens, or they just have a cousin who sells real estate and they're never going to work with you, right? But if you do all this stuff, a good percentage of your database will be engaging at all times, and you won't really need to worry about this problem of re-engaging the old leads. So that said, I know that in a lot of cases, you might be coming fresh to kvCORE from another system, or maybe you spent all last year paying for Property Boost leads, or you have a big load of Zillow leads in there, and you didn't quite get around to doing all these things, right? So no big deal. And now you've got this database of a couple hundred, a couple thousand people and there's money in there, right? So how do we pull some cash out of that database? And that's what we're going to talk to today. What things can we do to start to re-engage today? And then ongoing, we'll get to this stuff, right? We'll say, okay, now I get it. Yeah, I got to start doing this stuff, but what can I do today to re-engage? And that's what we're going to run through now. All right. So that's the setup. So, I'm going to run through these kind of quick. You guys stop me and tell me if you need an example or more kind of details about how to execute this in kvCORE, because each one of these kind of will have its own way of going about things, and I'll try to show the how as we go. But today I'm mostly more concerned around the brainstorm and the ideas. So the first one is pretty easy, and that would be to start emailing every new listing your office gets. Yeah, I'll share the doc again, guys. Here we go. You might have showed up a little late, Christian. Maybe I dropped it earlier. Here we go. So the first thing is to start emailing every new listing your office gets to your whole database. I know that might sound too simple, but think about it, especially in this market where we're all starved for listings and you have a small inventory on your team or at your office. If you're not really big, it could just make sense to say, hey, we just got a new listing. I wanted to let you know about it first. It just hit the MLS 2 minutes ago, right? As you put it in the MLS. And I want, as a member of our community, you're on our list. I just want to make sure you know about it first. And if you know anybody who might want to buy this, let me know. And that kind of email could be enough just to make somebody feel a little loved and special, right? And you're promoting your listing. And I think that a lot of people forget to do this. I'm not quite sure. I don't know if Delia is listening, my broker here in Forever, Florida, in my local office. I'm not sure we do this. It's probably something we should, right? So, hey, we've got a new listing. Here you go. And then if it's too many, if you're at an office and you're getting 20 listings a week, right? Then just do one email a week that just says, hey, here's the new listings. We want to let you know about it first. And you might even get away with, I don't want to break any MLS terms, but maybe, here's what's coming this week. Maybe you do that Monday, right? And this stuff's not hitting the MLS for a day or two. Maybe you give those people a little early notice. You follow your broker's rules on that one, but yeah, send listings. The second big one, and I probably should have this down lower because it's kind of the hardest to execute of these ideas. But because it's the hardest to execute, it's the most powerful. And it's exactly what I'm doing with you guys, 4 times a week here at this point. And that's a weekly webinar series that happens at the same time every week. And I would not recommend four real estate webinars a week, but one webinar that happens maybe every Wednesday at 8:00 that your audience gets used to knowing that there's some kind of a weekly real estate update webinar coming out of your office, and you can build it in as a system for your business, could really serve you well. So I have links here. It says to this webinar and this webinar. And what these are 2 sessions like this one, where we just dove in to creating webinar funnels. So we have a part 1 and a part 2, where I showed the nuts and bolts of creating a webinar presentation and driving traffic to the webinar and getting people to attend, how to invite them, how to follow up and send the replay, things like that. So the how-to is right here. We don't have time today to go into that full thing, but if you do want to start doing webinars, I feel like that's a pretty good roadmap you can follow. Some webinar topics that you can do. Pretty easy. First-time buyers webinar, a first-time investors webinar. I mean, this one, first-time investors webinar, that should have universal appeal, and would be a great way to engage people who aren't buying and selling right now, but they just want to make money and get richer in life, which is everybody, right? Everybody likes real estate investing. So first-time buyers, first-time investors, you can drill down these into specific categories, right? So you might do how to rent to own for Raphael, right? You've got your Home Partners of America, how to get down payment assistance. These could be a separate webinars underneath the main. You could do a series, or these become topics within the one webinar. For first-time investors, so you could talk about buying single family, buying multifamily, things like that. Another good webinar topic, how to buy your first fixer-upper and get financing for repair costs. This is a good one to do with a lender and talk about 203K. Maybe you get a non-QM lender, who specializes in working with hard money type kind of investor loans, fix and flip. Maybe you get them on as a guest and talk about that. This is one that a lot of people, even first-time buyers who are out in the market now would be interested in this. And then people who are interested in starting out as investors, this would be a good one. How to become a real estate agent. I really like this one. I think everybody who has a team and is recruiting, if you're a broker owner or team leader, could see the appeal of this. You could do a webinar that basically explains how to get into the real estate industry. We all know how because we're here, but a lot of people off the street might not know that, how to go and find a real estate course and, how to go through the testing process and what the expenses are. And, and then what do they do the first 3 months? How do they make sure they have success? That's where you come in, right? As a mentor. But think about this. If you mailed that webinar topic to everybody in your database, a lot of them came into your database as buyers or sellers or curious about a listing, but real estate's kind of the universal biz op, right? The business opportunity, kind of like the make money from home, not quite from home, but everybody, it's a big niche. So I think that a lot of people on your database would be interested in that content, or they would share it with somebody they know who is thinking about getting into the industry as a way to make a little extra side money or start a new career. So I definitely like this one. And of course, it's going to be a bit self-serving. Not only will you engage people with your business who might buy or sell from you, you might end up recruiting a few good people if you do that webinar maybe once every few months. So how to become a real estate agent. I think any of us could write that webinar in about 20 minutes. Not hard at all. And then, just here's one that you might use for generating seller leads. It might be hard to get attendees, but 5 reasons why now might be a perfect time to sell your home. So yeah, I'll share the doc again, and I'll make sure it's with the replay, guys. I keep sharing it, but I think we just have people coming in a little late. So I'll keep dropping it in the chat here. So there's that. So webinars. Even if you don't do webinars, just substitute the word webinar for video, right? And you could just record this content as a video and email it out if you don't want to invite people to live events. So next idea I have here is these conversation starting mass emails. So in kvCORE, as we all know, let's bring it up, at any time, and for most of these ideas, you're going to do the same thing. And at any time we can go into marketing and we can click on schedule mass emails, and we could just blast out an email and talk to people, right? So schedule a mass email with any of the topics I'm about to mention. You can also, from the Smart CRM, check off a filtered list of hashtags or just everybody like this with the checkbox, and you can send a mass text or a mass email from right here as well. So one way, probably, and this is probably the most common way that a lot of teams use kvCORE to re-engage, is they send quick little emails and texts to try to get a response. So I'm calling them conversation starting Dean Jackson 9-word style emails and texts. I think some of you guys might be familiar. Dean Jackson has this semi-famous in our industry 9-word email, and that email goes something like this. I think I've got it close. You can Google around and find it, but it goes something like, "Hi, are you still interested in buying a home in Tampa, Florida?" Like, it's a very simple one-liner, and works really well. So if you have an old list of 1,000 people, you're going to get probably just as many people who say, "No, buzz off. I never was interested. What are you talking about?" as you'll get, "Yeah, I'm still looking, still thinking about it." Right. And you'll get, you send this to a couple hundred people and you get 5. "Yeah, I'm actually, about to start looking," and you'd be surprised, out of thin air, you can create a couple of sides, so that's a really good one to send. It's known in the industry as something that has generated lots of positive results for people. Another kind of script you might use here, and I just made these up this morning, just trying to think of a few, but I'm sure you could think of your own, but it might go something like, "Hey, we've started emailing out the top 3 real estate deals in Tampa." I'm going to substitute area for Tampa. "Every Saturday morning. Would you be interested in getting this email?" Or out videos. If you want to go even crazier, of the top, the better you can make the content, the better, right? Would you be interested in getting this email? So if they reply back yes, then they have a pulse, and there you go. You've re-engaged and they're back in your fold. You put them on that you hashtag them and then you send them your best real estate deals every week. Something like this is, hey, we just listed this property. It's a new 2-acre plot of land in the area. This is kind of similar to sending the listings idea above. And then you just say, do you know anybody who might be interested? So send a listing. Do you know anybody who might be interested? And then this is the kind of offer to unsubscribe, kind of the takeaway selling approach. And it's like, hi, we've been sending you real estate updates for a while now. Are you still interested in getting these updates? And then in parentheses or along, side that you just say, we just don't want to be spamming anybody who's not interested. And a lot of times you'll get people who say, no, keep sending them. So this specifically, if they're getting your automated property alerts, they might not be showing any kind of pulse, but people are watching them in the background. So this is kind of a good email to kind of sift out who's still got a pulse, who's still actively looking. And they're going to say, no, don't unsubscribe. I look at them every day. And you will. This will happen. I'm going to add one more here that I don't have on the list. Establish a longer term general content smart campaign. I meant to get this on here. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but I created one of these probably about 6 months ago. It's called my 1-year buyer campaign. It's available to everybody, but it'll show some examples of standalone emails that you can send to Reengage because they're kind of built into the campaign. So I'm gonna go manage campaigns. I'll just search for year. Yeah, this is my 1 year. So if you look in your smart campaign section in the kvCORE library and you search for like 1 year campaign, it'll come up. But all this does is it's just generic content from different channels online. So we'll look at the first one. How to find motivated sellers. Just a quick tip. So this is an example of a quick tip for finding motivated sellers. Pop motivated in the search box on our site. Here's one about buying a starter home and an investment property at the same time, treating your first purchase as an investment. And then as the campaign goes through, there's a few that don't have content, but you can see a few of these just link out to resources online, like the complete home buying guide from Investopedia, like this thing. So this campaign kind of just uses other people's content right here. So if you want to re-engage people, I guess what I'm saying is you could go through and assign them all to this 1 year buyer nurture campaign. I would definitely look at what's in here and maybe take out the things you don't like and add some that you do, to make it appropriate for your audience. But all this does is just sends a bunch of different fun stuff, like the money pit video, the funny money pit video with Tom Hanks, just to make, get a smile. It's like kind of real estate related. So yeah, establish a long-term smart campaign and assign it to everybody would be a tip in that direction. Where are we? Here. Here's where we just were. Okay. The next thing, this is related to the retargeting stuff we did last week. We talked a lot about how to run retargeting campaigns, but if you do have the old database that just came in, you could upload the customer list to these various platforms. So I'll get rid of TikTok because I don't know that it's possible there for sure. But all of these, I'm not 100% sure about Pinterest, but all of these, you're able to upload a customer list to an audience and then show ads to that specific customer list. So if you don't already have retargeting set up and digital advertising set up for that, bunch of contacts that you have, then you'll want to do that. Get them uploaded and start showing them digital ads. And we would call it retargeting. So start retargeting basically is the long and short of that one. Here you go, Heather. Sorry, Elizabeth, here's that link. Okay, and then I link in here to that 4-part webinar series about how to set up retargeting campaigns. And then as we go down, I'm gonna kind of work in one of my favorite topics here, sending stuff in the mail, right? Something physical to their address. So if you have old seller leads or just past clients and the physical address, you can mail them stuff. So send an updated market report for their house, right? It might be a little work, but might be worth doing. Just go run a quick CMA, use Core Present maybe and shoot them something out to re-engage. We talked yesterday about Thanks.io's QR code scanning, where you would send a list of local deals or opportunities. Man, I can't remember. I don't think that's actually going to be in here. for me to quickly show you. I don't think I saved it. Here, we'll just show the image might be, and just show that image. Yeah, here it is. Something like this. So where you send those people, they're homeowners, but you send them an offer to get a list of fixer-uppers or investments or something like that, or even to refinance their home. So get them something in their physical mailbox, basically, that's real estate related. And in a random gift card bribe, similar to this thanks.io functionality again, where you can say, hey, if you're willing to schedule a chat with me about the value of your house, I'll send you a $20 Home Depot gift card as soon as you schedule. So that is something physical in the mail again that could re-engage. Okay, and then I probably have this last bucket of ideas here. This falls under the content marketing bucket, where you're just sending something cool every week. We're kind of going full circle, but just some things you might send. So you could interview a local business owner or a resident. Just get somebody on a Zoom with you and talk to them about how long they've lived in the area. What's their favorite things about the area? How does their business work? And just email that out. Like, hey, I don't know if you know the owner over there of Pia's. I don't know. I'm picking a restaurant near me. I just did an interview with her. I thought you might find it interesting. She got a really awesome story. Here you go. So it's just to engage, right? I think we've all heard these ideas. It's kind of ties in with the blogging and things like that, content marketing, event announcements. So if you know something cool's going on in your community, just send an invite. Hey, I don't know if you knew, but there's a community yard sale this weekend. All right. Come and check it out. We're actually all of our agents at our office are going to be bringing their trash to the office to sell if you want to come drop by, right? So there's opportunity to do kind of a community-based event. Kelly Bojarski, who's our director of training here at Inside Real Estate, you may have caught some of her webinars in the past. She's really big on community-style events, and I'm guessing that if you search our YouTube channel for community or events, you might be able to find one of her old webinars on that. Let me just check here, community. Yeah, so I'll drop this link to everyone watching now. This is just a query for community on our YouTube channel, but you can see this is one Kelly and I did about 2 years ago. And then a blog idea, wrapping up community programs and do available listings. So, send stuff. You got to engage. The best, most efficient way to engage, in my opinion, is with content. And you might send this out and not get too much of a response, but just know people are reading your emails. They're seeing your retargeting ads. You are making touches that build top of mind status over time. You just need to be consistent and not expect for just one email to create a lot of results. It's one email every week for the next 3 years that really builds momentum, right, in your business. And then just local real estate news. So any new construction projects that are underway, if whatever builders are doing, if there are zoning changes or laws that you're aware of, just share that with the people on your list. Hey, we just found out that, there's this zoning ordinance coming. Just thought I'd let you know about it, right? Easy stuff to do, just as you hear now. News. And then list of recent real estate transactions is kind of an interesting one, especially in markets where the sold data isn't published. There's an opportunity there. Maybe you send an email out just listing recent transactions. So there's my 20 minutes of kind of brainstorming ideas to fire hose you guys up with ways to re-engage. Please chat in either on YouTube if you're watching the replay, or if you're watching on Zoom live now. Chat in and let me know if you have any other ideas you think should be on this sheet. We had a question about whether or not these webinars are recorded and visitable again, reviewable again. Yes, they're always posted to our next level members area, which is accessible from the marketplace. And then they are always in our YouTube playlist at insiderealestate.com/webinars, which I have on the screen, but just go to insiderealestate.com/webinars. And this replay, as well as all the others we do, are here. So that's what I had for today, guys. Feel free to kind of start chatting in any questions you have about this topic or anything else kvCORE related. I got a little more time to kind of hang out and answer. If nobody chats, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna call it a day early and go. What I'm gonna do? I'll go jump in the pool. It's nice and warm in Florida. All right, here we go. Cool. Are the webinars organized by topic? They're organized chronologically, Christian. So if you go to this link that I mentioned, you can go search here. One thing you can do is you can Control F the page and search for a topic. So if I search retargeting, I can do so. You search the whole channel. And then the next level members area itself is a little more structured, where we have our growth system flow and different areas where we have tutorials, things like that. And you can search that members area for specific stuff as well. Okay, so Scott's got a question. I'm just going to read it here and share with everybody. What metrics? Okay, good question. So Scott's asking, what metrics do you track on Google Ads to figure out how to make your ads better? And then it's a big numbers pit when you look at it. Yeah, so honestly, cost per conversion is kind of the one I look at. So let's just do that live, Scott. I'll just kind of look at our campaigns that we have running here. I think I only have 1 or 2 right now running for Forever Florida Real Estate. It's not a lot. Just switch to that Google account. But I'll just share with you my process for optimizing the campaign. It's not a lot to it. It's kind of lazy, but it does the trick. In real estate with Google Ads, once you got something that's generating leads for like $8 to $15, I don't know. It's kind of good. You can kind of just let it run and it'll just run and be efficient for a long time. So here we have only 2 campaigns running right now. We have one that's a retargeting campaign for display ads, and it's just showing here and there. So that I just kind of ignore. What's it costing? I'm just checking. Yeah, we're spending $1 to get somebody back to the site. So that's not bad at $5 a day. But this campaign, the St. Pete New Construction, that has been running for, I think, a year or more. So okay, yeah, we'll just do the all time. And it has generated 815 leads for $8.98 a lead at a conversion rate of 11.66. So this campaign, I haven't worried about much for months and months. The only time I worried about it was in the beginning, Scott, like to speak to your question. And all I would do is I would come in, go to the campaign, and I would look at the various ads and the keywords. So if I click through the keywords, and I'll do this now, I can see which keywords might be a drag on the campaign. So you can see this houses for sale in St. Petersburg. It's kind of funny. Google doesn't like the quality score, but we've actually generated 18 leads at $4 a lead, which is cheaper than the average of all the others, right? And it's got a nice high conversion rate. This tells me that Google doesn't like the quality score, that the page that I'm sending people to, which is a new construction list page, doesn't have these words on the page. This is a signal to me that I should create a second campaign that only has this keyword in the headline of the ad, and I'll get a higher quality score and probably get better cost per lead. But I'll leave it on because it's only costing me $4 a lead either way, even though Google doesn't like the quality score. Right. This one, I deleted at some point because it had a low quality score, but look, it did get me 38 leads for $6 each. So I'll turn that back on. So I think you're getting the point. I just look through the different keywords, and if anything sticks out as being low performing, this is the first 10. These are all fine to me, right? The cost per lead is very acceptable on each one, all under $10. I'll go to the next 10. And then if I sort it from high to low, now this one, we're paying $16 each on this one. So I'm gonna get rid of that one. I'll get rid of this one. We're paying 18 each. We're paying 17 for this. And we're paying 20 for this. I'll pause those, but I do know that I'm getting some traffic and conversions on those. So I may go back and build dedicated campaigns for those. So that's more or less the process. I key in on the keywords that aren't performing very high and get rid of them. And the ones that are performing well, just kind of leave them. From time to time, you can add more keywords, but really there's usually enough traffic to go around that there's more traffic than there is budget. So I don't really worry about optimization. Now we have 2 ads here, and I can just at a glance look at these, and they're kind of like neck and neck on the cost per lead. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could maybe shut the top one off because it's like 40 cents more per lead, but I don't know. But it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this is fine. Google's rotating 2 leads. They're getting similar conversion rates, and that's fine. So the only other thing I would do to optimize this is try to build ads that drastically beat this conversion rate, but there's diminishing returns in the effort. So I hope, Scott, that helps. You clearly triggered me because this is one of my favorite topics. I love going into this. But once you have it working, it works. And for anybody watching, we've done webinars on this. Just copy this ad. I promise. Just copy that ad. And it doesn't need to be for new construction. Just copy it for whatever niche you do. And all I'm doing is I'm running niche focused search offers like new construction, fixer uppers at the main keywords in my area and sending them to landing pages like this. Super simple. Like the landing page pretty much says the same thing the ad says, right? Very close. And you get a good conversion. I just gave you how to kill it with Google ads in 10 minutes for real estate. All right. Okay, so I'm going to switch gears here to Elizabeth's question. So Elizabeth ran into a snag with custom audiences. Oh, interesting. So she ran into an error where it says you need to connect a business, but when you try to add a business, cannot claim this account because it has personal payment orders on it. Man, I wish I could help, but that's one of those really weird Facebook glitches. I would guess, just based from experience, that there may be something up with your payment options. Like maybe you used the account way back in the day and that credit card that you used on the account is expired, or maybe it expired and there was a small balance. I've had that happen to me, and then Facebook kind of locks the whole account down, Elizabeth. That's where I would look, but otherwise, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm trying to bring it up and show you where to go for that. It's usually like in the business settings. Oh boy. Let me see. Here we go. We'll go to this one. Try to go to one that's live. Meta. Oh, I got the Meta logo finally. Somebody mentioned that last week that my account hadn't switched, and now it does say Meta. So if we go to the settings right here, down at the bottom left to our business settings, and there's usually like a payment. Yeah, right here. See this payment methods option? Try clicking on that and seeing what's going on. A lot of times you'll see one that's like in red or it's not working good. So, yeah. Okay. So, Christy's question, how often should you send out mailers to past clients? I don't know. Seems to me like once or twice a year is pretty good, right? So at least once or twice a year. I think quarterly would be a good flow, but maybe a Merry Christmas card, a happy house anniversary, happy anniversary of your home purchase. I think you get away with every quarter. You probably get away with every month if you really had unique content. So the answer is as often as you have good stuff to share or send, but at the very least, try to send something once a year. I thought a lot on that. We were doing it. Thanks. We were doing this whole farming thing for a while, but it was so hard to set up. I don't think it's going to be there. We had 12. We were sending 12 cards, real estate postcards for people. And it was just really hard, a lot of work to set up, but yeah, once a year at the bare minimum. For probably a quarterly is the best, what I would recommend. So Patricia's asking, lead in back to Google, what does a lead mean? Yeah, they filled out the form. So they did this, they got here and they filled this out, and the conversion pixel fired. The Google conversion pixel fired, and Google sees it as a lead. So, going back to these numbers, $7,000 for 815 conversions. So 1% conversion rate would be 8 deals. Now, we're not the best at tracking them, but I'm pretty sure 8 deals will come out of this. A high level of confidence, just knowing the infrastructure and how the follow-up goes. I haven't looked, but 8 deals times average side of, even if it's as low as 300, but the average is like 400 or 500 probably. But even if it's as low as 300, so 300 times 2.5, 75,000, 7,500. I don't know. There's probably at least, at the very worst, a 2-to-1 ROI on this money. Like 15 grand made in company dollars, the 20% split or whatever that the brokerage gets. There's at least a 2-to-1. If it was a solo agent on an 80 split, it's got to look more like 5 or 6-to-1, just eyeballing this. So this stuff works, guys. It's just a matter of being willing to max out your credit card for a year. If you're just getting started, say you just came into the business and you went and ran this ad, and you got 10 grand on a credit card, right? You're taking the risks that entrepreneurs take in business. And you say, you know what, this credit card, I got 10 G's on it, and I'm going to run Google ads at $1,000 a month for 10 months or $800 a month for a year. And I'm going to follow up on every lead that comes through here. I would have a really hard time thinking that you don't get that money back in multiples. But it needs to, I think what most people do is they run this for like a month or 3 weeks and they don't get a deal and they give up. But, the top producers out there and the bigger offices that have scaled and have, 50 different locations, this is the stuff these guys do. All right, I'm going on a tangent. All right, next question. Do you recommend adding keywords in every ad? I would, yeah, Scott, I would be happy to look at your page if you want to share it, or maybe share it in the next level. Definitely. So what I would focus on for keywords, stick to the main keywords for your market. So as you saw here, I didn't have a lot, and there's some clues in what I'm showing on the screen here. If I go to clicks, I'm going to sort by clicks. You can see which of these ads over the course of a year got the most clicks and engagement. But it's not a lot. I only have 24 keywords in here and half of them are turned off. So it's probably the top 10 are getting most of the traffic. But look what it is. It's homes for sale, condos for sale with the city name. I'm doing exact match. So definitely start with exact match, Scott. Maybe that'll help you. You see the bracket. So it's only when people search this, not when they search broad, and start with less keywords rather than more. And then for your ad copy what I did. Just pick a niche list like new construction, open houses, fixer-uppers, and run it to a targeted landing page like this. Keep it very tight, and don't make people read too much, and it works. So, but I'd happy to look at your page there. And then I don't know how you have a couple with no keywords. You're saying that you have campaigns with no keywords, but you should have keywords. Now, if you're doing certain audiences or topics, maybe you fell into Google's evil trap. They have this evil thing they do when you create a new Google account, and they take you through this wizard, and they try to make you use their automated thing. And it's like this, they're just getting money out of people. It's all in their favor. I'm kind of joking around, but try to get to the expert view of the Google Ads platform and run the ads the way that I show how to do in the next level tutorials. There's definitely tutorials in the next level members area about step-by-step how to create these. I can't really send a link to the ad, but it's up on the screen for a while, Elizabeth, right here. Here, I'll send a screenshot to everybody. Here's the screenshot link. Next level it's not under marketing, it's under marketplace. To answer your question, Zeta. Here, I'll go show you guys where that is. I guess I'm technically supposed to try to get people to sign up for that. So let me show you where it is. All right, here we go. Under, might help if I log in, kvCORE. Under marketplace right here. And then it's under our coaching section. They have me all the way hidden on the right side. Wah, wah, wah. I just had to zoom in. Probably just have it zoomed in too far. And then right here, you can learn more about it. And then once you have it started, just click launch. You can log on in. And then I would start with the growth system stuff right here. So this is kind of the main methodology. And in part of that, like you'll eventually get to the stuff about creating Google ads and Facebook ads. So like the Google pay-per-click stuff is right here. So how to set up your account, how to install the pixels, how to run the buyer focused Google PPC ad for a squeezer landing page. This is more or less the exact flow that I set up for what I'm showing you today. Okay, how to run that ad is right here in this video. So Patricia, these are the right now. These are the live webinars for Next Level. So we leave them open for people to watch, and then the rest of the content is in there. We call this like the not basics of kvCORE, these sessions. So that's why we call them Next Level. I think at some point in the near, maybe we'll separate them out so only members can access these. But I'll be honest, not too many people are able to show up midday, to the lives anyway. Like we'll get 10 to 30 people. Everybody's so busy, and then we just kind of let people, we archive it and people access at their own pace. So I don't think it really matters either way. It's hard to share a Google Ads account, Scott. You can send me some screenshots. I mean, if you want to invite me to your Google account, maybe I'll record a review if you don't mind being a guinea pig, just so it's leveraged. You would go to tools and settings up here, like so. And then you would go to access and security. It took me a minute to remember. Under setup, access and security. And then you can invite me if you'd like. You just hit the plus sign, and I don't know. I would probably just do the standard maybe. I'm not going to do anything in there or even admin, but just click send invitation. You put the email address up here. So my email, here you go. I'll just drop it in the chat to you, Scott. So yeah, invite me if you want. I'll take a quick look, and if you don't mind, I'll just maybe record myself doing the audit to share with everybody else. But mostly what I'm going to say is that you should make your ads look like the ones that I do that work, because that's all I know. It's not all I know, but like this is just based on years and years. Like that, the program that we run in our marketplace, the ads we run there, I was involved very early on in conversion days and helping craft those. So a lot of what I'm showing you guys today is the result of like 10 years and hundreds of thousands of clicks of just what works. So you're just getting the goods. I mean, there's definitely other stuff that works totally fine and well. This is just how I'm doing it now. But yeah, just the math is wonderful in our business, guys, with these paid ads. And just think 1% conversion, even if you don't do, if you do all the stuff that we talked about at the top of the hour, 1% is a joke. Like you should be able to get 5%. So, 5 out of every 100 people coming in your fold, you should be able to convert them, not in a month or two, but if you have a 2 to 5 year time horizon on your business and you're in this for the long haul, every dollar you spend, every 100 leads you generate now, you should be able to pull 5 deals out of those, whether it's directly from those people or people they know. And the math, and it's just wonderful. You pay $10 for a Google lead. So 100 Google leads cost me $1,000. And if you do the right things, I could generate 5 transactions for $1,000 if I'm really focused and zoned in on my business and I'm doing all the stuff. That's how the top producers, they'll tell you that's how people get rich doing this. Now, whether you want to work that hard is another question. I'll share. I personally made a decision when the kids started coming that, man, I couldn't do it. Couldn't do 5 transactions a month anymore. But I'm going on a tangent. But if you want to do five transactions a month, man, the goods are here. That's all you need is like one good traffic source, a consistent follow-up, consistent engagement, and just the willingness to serve people and close, as everybody here listening knows. Yeah. Yeah. So Z, that's a good question. I have a lot of seller leads sitting in my CRM. What would be the best campaign I can use? I have not followed up consistently. So I would start, if you can do the retargeting stuff, just start showing those people. This isn't going to work great, but start showing them your brand. So just so they start getting used to your name. That's not going to generate immediate results, but have some kind of campaign that's targeting those people. I would definitely start emailing them lists of transactions in your market or local market news once a month, as we talked about here, but to directly engage them. Like to go nuclear, I would do what Josh Shanley and Shane Bond and those guys are doing. And I've had them on webinars, but I'll just show you Josh's because I know he doesn't mind. He's very willing to share. And we did a webinar with Josh. Josh does a lot of skip tracing, like research online to try to find information about people. And then he's sending pretty personal stuff related to their house. So he's sending full CMAs in the mail. So I'm just trying to find an example of one. So here's an example of, this is a monthly marketing update. So he has them scan and they're getting like a market report about everything that's sold in their area. I think he's using Cloud CMA, but you could easily send them to our Core Present solution if you have access to that. So create a Core Present for their whole area or create a unique Core Present for them and email it to them, but also drop it in the mail is what I'm trying to really get to for seller leads. Put something physical in their hands. Yeah, and then Josh is, I think this is the ones where he's sending a unique report for their house. Please don't scan his codes because he'll get a notification that it was scanned and he'll think that lead replied. Please don't do that if you're watching this. He's going to be upset with me for showing it. But look, he's sending a full RPR in this case. And, it's work, but, he's using thanks.io. It makes it a little easier to do this, like with some automation. But, a seller lead, a listing lead is worth a lot of money to us. So, he's spending a few bucks per listing lead, probably $3 to get that full thing out in the mail and about 20 minutes of time and research. But, a nice even a 1% conversion rate on that, when you start to work the numbers, it really works out. So Zita, that's my long-winded answer. I would just start sending them stuff in the mail and then complement that with regular emails and texts about local market stuff, whether it's just your new listings and then, retargeting. Yeah. Yeah, I guess the point of today, going back to our original content is, we always talk about generating new leads. But they're definitely, for most of us, there's probably a lot of money just sitting in our kvCORE databases waiting to be reinvigorated and claimed by doing some of this stuff. The scans in thanks.io, you get a notification about who it was. It's quite nice. Like you get their full contact info in an email. And you could zap that back into kvCORE. That's a little more complicated, but I'll show you what one of the emails looks like. Looks like this. It tells you where they went and what they scanned. So this is just an internal thanks one, but like that. So yeah, you know that they did it. And thanks isn't the only technology that can do that. But it's very interesting. When you are doing a physical mail, you want to make sure that they took the action. So send them to a landing page. We just cut out that step because we know every time they scan, we're going to get notified. So even whether or not they put an email address in on a landing page, then to follow up a little more. Question from Jeannie. How do you change the logo in the landing page in kvCORE? Unfortunately, you can't. I'm sorry. I'm hopeful that soon we have a more robust landing page functionality going. The only thing you can do is you can delete the logo. So the way to delete the logo would be to double click on it like this. Double click. And then you get this little warning that says you might not be in compliance. Who cares? I'm just kidding. I don't know. Make sure you're in compliance that you're allowed to do that. I'm joking around, but just double click it and it goes away. Zita, that's just a Zoom thing. Everybody says that. I can do it. I can copy the chat for some reason as like the host and the admin, but I don't know why you guys can't. I'm sorry. You should be able to click on the link though that I sent. Hopefully, those links that I drop, hopefully you can click those and then you can copy that link out of your browser. Okay, guys. Starting to get a sore throat, so I'm going to call it a day and just wish you all a happy weekend. Next week we'll be live again. I'll probably be looking, well, I'll let you know when it happens. I might want to shift these to noon unless anybody really gets upset, noon Eastern. I don't know if that's too early for the West Coast, just due to some personal stuff, but I'll let you know about that. Next week will be at 2 p.m. for next week. And then I'm looking at maybe in the next few weeks doing a little bit of a time switch, but thank you all for being here. And keep an eye on the next level members area. Keep an eye on the Facebook group, insiderealestate.com/Facebook group. So Andy's saying 9 PST would be good. So that's cool. Yeah, it would be earlier for a lot of people. It would be lunchtime here on the East Coast. And just I have some other things that are starting to encourage on my calendar. So I'm thinking maybe we'll shift them. But I'll let you guys know when that happens, if it happens. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.